Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Cruise Chat Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Yes, we're inside today because there is a chance of some weather moving in later. But I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. We book your cruises, land, luxury, expedition, pretty much you name it. It's kind of fun when you all reach out and go, do you guys sell Royal Caribbean or do you sell Disney or do you? Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, we can book you on pretty much any river or ocean or expedition cruise line out there. Plus, we are starting to book more and more land tours too. So whatever y'all are thinking, just reach out. I mean, if we can't do it, we'll tell you, but the chances are we can probably help you. And our services are 100% free to you. Wherever you're watching right now, there are links in the description, or just simply go to where'swaltertravel.com, click on contact us, set up a meeting, I give you a call, and that's how it works. And again, our service is 100% free to you. So good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing? Let's see. Oh man, over here on the YouTube side, we got a whole bunch of people there. We got Sue, Annette, Eric, John, Sue and Phil, Becky, Kurt, Benny, Michael. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? We got a whole bunch of people tuning in over on the TikTok side as well. Good to see everybody. Nice to see everybody on a Sunday morning. We're going to spend about the next hour or so. Happy Sunday, Cheryl. About the next hour or so, talking all things cruising, doing our very best to answer your questions. And like I said, if you're wondering why we're inside, there is a chance of some weather, some heavy weather moving in, either during the show or just after the show. So we decided to set up inside. And if you're looking over my shoulders at all, those are all photographs that I took on our cruises. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And we used to get all of our prints done at Costco because it was cheaper. And now Costco has partnered up with Shutterfly. So, and they're still good rates. So that's actually where we get all of our stuff done. Most of these are on paper, but we do have a couple on acrylic and metal. Oh my gosh, if you get stuff printed on acrylic, it looks like it's 3D. It's absolutely gorgeous back there. So, but hey, Bill's fan is here as well. Good to see you guys. Michael, you got 6 more days until you cruise. Yay. That is totally awesome. That is Virgin, right? You're going on your very first Virgin voyage. I see Rebecca's going, So we're very excited about that. You know what I love about that too, we have so many people that come to us, I don't know about this Virgin Voyages thing. We'll present it. If somebody's looking for an adult-centric cruise, we'll always present Virgin as one of the options. And so many of you are like, I don't know about Virgin. It just seems kind of wackadoodle and crazy. But then we send you out there and we explain what it's really like on the ships, and we send you out there and then you come back and you're like, oh my gosh. It was absolutely amazing. And I bought like 3 of those, my next Virgin Voyages. So I'm ready to go on more. Because first time you lay down in a hammock on Virgin Voyages, oh my gosh, it is absolutely amazing. And once you lay down in that hammock, you will never not want to get a balcony on Virgin, or I guess I should say a sea terrace on Virgin. So some interesting news in the world of cruising. While I wait for y'all to go ahead and throw in some questions, feel free to just throw in your questions. You can ask about cruise lines, cruise ship, ports, whatever you want to ask. We'll do our best. Michael said he'll be at Lick Me Till I Scream all week. I'll tell you what, Michael, that's very good ice cream. So be careful, man. Pace yourself with the ice cream on Virgin Voyages. It's really, really good.
And it's right next to the pizza, too.
Yeah, it's right next to the pizza, so you really got to pace yourself there. That is the one thing about Virgin. The food is so flipping good, so it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. But interesting, how many of you have worked in the same place for 43 years? Like 43 years. Absolutely amazing. So Adolfo Perez, who was the, what was his actual title? Let me see. I want to get this because this guy is amazing. He was the Senior Vice President of Global Sales and Trade Marketing for Carnival Cruise Line. He started when he was 18 years old as a ticket taker in Miami. And he rose all the way up to there. He's been with the company for 43 years. He just announced his retirement. God bless you, Adolfo. He's been a huge proponent of travel agents. He has a whole movement called Travel Agent Rocks. Just a remarkable career to be in one company for 43 years. And, God bless you, Adolfo. Good luck in your retirement. I hope you have a chance to enjoy your retirement. I don't care, man. Anybody else been like at one place for like 43 years? Holy cow, that is absolutely amazing. So, good morning, Cindy. Lloyd wants to know, how is the Carnival Horizon? So we've not been on that specific ship, But I can tell you that the Vista class, you got Vista Horizon Panorama, a very popular set of ships. It is the ones right before the XL class came out, which is your Mardi Gras celebration, Jubilee. And we've sent quite a few people out on the Horizon, and we've sent them out on the Vista, and it's been absolutely amazing. I see that on the YouTube side, the signal has dropped off. I don't know why. We are in we're hardwired, so I do apologize if the quality is dropping off a little bit. But hopefully it'll straighten itself out. Anyway, so yeah, so that is the Horizon. I mean, the Horizon is a good ship. It is one of the more popular ship, Vista and Horizon, very popular ship. Douglas, how you doing, Douglas? Man, 69 days until the Norwegian Aqua. Question on Norwegian: do they have a fancy coffee option that's included with the beverage package, or do I need to buy the Starbucks package? You need to buy the Starbucks package. Norwegian does not include specialty coffees in any of their beverage packages. I don't know why. And in fact, they don't even have beverage packages anymore. They just have More at Sea. You cannot upgrade that to anything else. It is the More at Sea beverage package. And then you can add on the coffee option. So yeah, I know it's kind of a bummer. John's excited because both the World America and the Norwegian Aqua are en route to the United States. I know, that's really exciting, right? Super exciting. And the interesting thing about the Aqua, she was supposed to go to Boston. She was scheduled to go to Boston, and unfortunately, there is bad weather between Europe and Boston, so she's going to stay out at sea for an extra 2 or 3 days and just come straight to New York. She was supposed to go to Boston and then come down to New York. Well, she's just going to go straight to New York. So a lot of scrambling. We actually have a client who is on the crossing right now. And so far, it sounds like she's got everything under control. But yeah, what a big shocker, huh? They were supposed to come into Boston, and instead they're going all the way over to New York City. So yeah, so they're both headed over. I know a lot of people are very excited about that. We just watched the Disney Treasure special last night. That's on Disney Plus. So if you haven't seen that, it's actually kind of cool. They didn't really concentrate on the construction of the ship. They concentrated on everything happening within. And in particular, they followed the Coco Dinner Theater show, and they followed the Moana show. But that was interesting. It wasn't exactly the same as Building the Wish. So that's really cool. If you got Disney Plus, definitely check that out. Let's see. Oh, Betty. And Betty's saying she was one of those that went on Virgin and loved the cruise, wasn't really sure about it. So, Sea Tour, Chlor. I'm so sorry if I'm getting that wrong. You're going on the Celebration for the second time on April 20th. That is awesome. Great ship. Great ship. Excel class I think the Excel class is a lot of fun. You know, it suffers from like big ship syndrome. Like a lot of times big ships just have these small venues for some reason. Like they feel like they got to squeeze more venues, and then they all end up being a little bit smaller than they should be for a big ship. But really a great ship. Let's see. Have we sailed on the Jewel of the Seas? And if so, our opinion on it. Not the Jewel. We have been on the Mariner, and we've been on Freedom and the Icon, and soon to be Star of the Seas. We've sent quite a few people. The neat thing about the Jewel of the Seas and some of those smaller ships, they send them on really interesting itineraries. I mean, really interesting itineraries. And it's because the ship is smaller. So the ship can get into some places that some of her bigger sisters can't. And it does tend to attract a more, shall we say, mature crowd, because it doesn't have, I think it has a rock climbing wall. That's about the only thing that it has, is a rock climbing wall. So, yeah. And again, I apologize. I can see the YouTube feed up on the big screen, and I can see that it is not coming through very well. So I apologize for that, but it's a podcast now. You can just listen to it like a podcast. Let's see. Abby, if you don't initially bring on water during embarking, can you do it at the different ports?
Well, first off, it depends on the cruise line.
I was just going to say, yeah, it depends on the cruise line.
Because some cruise lines don't allow you to bring anything on board.
Yeah.
Beverage-wise. Doesn't matter.
So if you buy stuff at the various ports, you just need to check. I mean, normally like a bottled water or soft drinks, you shouldn't have a problem with it. But what I would do is I would simply ask security on your way out and say, if I buy bottled water here, can I please bring it back?
And the answer may be different on whether it's opened or unopened as well.
Exactly. So, and I see you say Royal Caribbean. I mean, I don't know all of the policies offhand. So the best policy is as you're exiting the ship, just simply ask. I can tell you for sure, if you bring liquor back, they're going to hold that liquor, wine. They're going to hold that until the end of the cruise. The question about water, can you bring bottled water back? I would think you probably could, but always ask the security as you leave the ship. So, hey, Silver Librarian, how are you? Good to see you. Good morning, Dennis. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, Michael was on the horizon, and he said he really enjoyed that. Let's see. Good morning, Walter. I just want to thank you for the in-depth videos on Explora Journeys. My pleasure. You helped tip the scales, and you purchased a trip to Dubai. Awesome. That should be a lot of fun. That is an amazing voyage. We've actually been booking quite a few folks on there. And, one of the super cool things because of our relationship with Explora now, especially Kathy's like an awesome rep. We're able to give some extra perks and benefits on board. And also through our travel consortium, there have been some extra perks and benefits. So yeah, Explora, one, amazing cruise line, and two, I'm really excited that we're able to add some extra perks and benefits when we book our clients on there. So absolutely amazing. Yeah, you're going to have a great time. Benny wants to know when does the Princess offer end for the $500 onboard credit and cabin upgrade? So first of all, let's talk about that cabin upgrade because it is a misnomer. It is not you get to upgrade from an interior to an ocean view to a balcony or anything like that. It's just a subcategory upgrade. So you can upgrade from let's say the IC inside to the IB inside. That's like how it works. It's a subcategory upgrade. It's very misleading the way they say, oh, free stateroom upgrade. Technically it is, but you're still within the same subcategory. And then the $500 onboard credit is for select sailings. It's not for every single sailing, and that's going to end Monday. So tomorrow the 31st, that'll end. Now they did it last weekend. Now they did it again this weekend. So, is it going to be a weekend thing? We don't know, but it will end on Monday. And we have gone back in and we checked some. We went back in and we checked some of the bookings that we already have, just to see if anybody could be upgraded. I will tell you that our Hawaii cruise is part of that right now. So if you want to join us in Hawaii, February 4th. In fact, for those of you watching on video, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because the signal's so bad. But our Hawaii cruise, February 4th on the Emerald Princess, that cruise is currently we have $550 of onboard credit on that one because our group has $50 already added as part of the group. And then this is part of that $500 onboard credit offer. So if you want to come to Hawaii with us February 4th through the 20th of 2026, we'll be on the Emerald Princess. And then Rebecca and I are planning to be in Disneyland for maybe 3 days prior, because I've never been to Disneyland, and it is the 70th anniversary, so I'm very excited about that. So that is part of the $500 onboard credit. So great question, Benny. It seems to be a weekend thing. We don't know if it'll be a weekend thing again next week, but certainly a weekend thing this week. So yeah. Rick, if the price is the same, would you recommend a suite on a moderate cruise line or a regular stateroom on a luxe? That totally depends on which two cruise lines you're talking about. I mean, it really does. And it also depends on the itinerary, it really does, because, when you say a moderate cruise line, I would be thinking along the lines of Princess, Celebrity, maybe Virgin. Of course, Royal Caribbean could be in the mix, Norwegian. And then if you're talking about a luxe, no, the luxe cruise lines are not created equal. So it all depends. Like if you're comparing a regular stateroom on Explora versus any of the ones that we just, like if you're comparing Explora to Virgin, Celebrity, Princess, I'm going to go Explora every time, depending on the itinerary. It just depends on that itinerary. Like for our European cruise, we went with Celebrity Constellation because it's an itinerary that we like, and they're also doing a crossing, and the value to go ahead and get a balcony on that was just simply phenomenal. So that made the decision. So it really comes down to which ships are we talking about? Which cruise lines are we talking about? So what are you getting with the thing? Because even with a Lux cruise line, like not everything is included on every single cruise line. You know, like Azamara, not everything is included. Oceania, not everything is included. You get a lot more included. So yeah, it's kind of a hard decision to make. So I know that wasn't a definitive answer, but there's so many things that come into play. It's just like when people ask us, you know, what's the cruise line for XYZ? You know, it all depends on the itineraries that are available. Like in Italy, in Europe, we really wanted to go on Azamara. They had an itinerary that I really liked for our European group cruise. However, the Wi-Fi was such a problem for me on the last cruise, which is not going to be a problem for normal, you know, for
yeah. You're just checking emails.
Those of you who are on vacation, Wi-Fi doesn't matter. For a lot of you, like if it works and it doesn't work, as long as you're getting some email stuff like that. But for me, I have to run my business, while I know it won't be running 24/7, I at least need it to be reliable when it's up, and it just wasn't all that reliable. So for me, I couldn't make that decision to go on there. But we just booked somebody literally on the itinerary we were going to do. I was like, this is the itinerary I would totally do if you're not running your business from the ship. So yeah, so sometimes that even comes into play. So yeah, but good question. I mean, if you want to reach out, Rick, you know, we can talk about it. We can go ahead and compare. Well, what are you looking at? And then I can give you a more objective opinion, because ultimately what my job is to get you the best vacation. And if we look objectively at the two, then we'll figure it out. So let's see. Green Eyes, you're headed to Alaska in July on Norwegian Bliss. Secrets to share. So July, you're going to be in the thick of the heavy season. I used to say that there were over 60 ships in Alaska during the height of the season. From my understanding lately, it is more like 80 to 100 ships in Alaska during the height of the season. And you wonder why those people are getting upset. Rebecca and I were talking about that a little bit before the show. It's like, you wonder why those people are getting upset, because there's so many ships coming up there. So you're going to be in the height of the season. So, you know, some ports could be crowded. Some excursions may not be available. Like if you haven't booked any excursions yet, you definitely should. You should definitely have all of your excursions booked. Two of the tour companies that we recommend. If you're going to Juneau, the best whale watching in Alaska, hands down, and we have sent so many people to these guys. Harb and Marv whale watching. They are the best. They really are the best. We have no affiliation with them whatsoever. We just send all of our clients to them and say, go book them. And in fact, we have a group of, I think, 18 that are all we actually booked our own boat for June with them. So Harvin, Marvin, Juneau, and then in Skagway, and I believe also Juneau, Temsco Helicopters. They have those glacier tours, and they also have that tour where they take you to the dog sled camp. Of course, the big things in Alaska, layers. You got to have layers with a light backpack. It could be in the 40s in the morning, then it could be in the 70s in the afternoon, maybe even pushing up near 80. So you need to be able to take the layers off. And of course, you want to have a backpack so you can carry everything. Walking sticks are really good. Mosquito wipes, not sprays, but wipes. You can get wipes, so you can wipe down for mosquitoes. Highly recommend those, that you're not spraying everybody around you, and then you're not spraying your clothes all up. And
it doesn't run the risk of leaking so much in your because they're usually packed in individual little packets.
Yeah, like if it's in your luggage and it's in the hold of the plane, it could leak. And there was one more thing I was going to recommend. Oh, if you're a photographer. There is a company called lensrentals.com. Highly recommend them. If you have a camera with interchangeable lenses, or maybe you want to get a nice camera for Alaska with a big zoom lens. I'm going to be renting, I think it's a 400 or 500 millimeter lens from them with a 1.5 adapter, because, one, you don't want those grizzlies to be close, and they're not going to be close to you. The eagles are not going to be very close to you. Sometimes the whales will be right next to you. Sometimes the whales will be far away. So you want that zoom lens. So yeah, I highly recommend lensrentals.com. So that is a lot of good stuff over there. You got something?
And Rebecca? Then one other thing with Norwegian in particular, in Ketchikan, they aren't actually docking in Ketchikan. They dock about, what, 15?
7 miles away.
Yeah. So, but they do have shuttles that run into downtown Ketchikan.
Yeah.
But you've got to factor in that added transportation time.
Yeah. So, yeah. And actually, that's where we're going to be docking on Oceana. But we have a very long port stay in Ketchikan, so it won't be all that difficult. So, yeah, have a good time in Alaska. That's all I can say. Have an amazing time. Ellen, you're sad the Princess canceled all of the cruises out of Galveston for the Majestic Princess. That is the winter of 26 into 2027. I know it is a real shame. They say that they're going to be doing a redeployment. Now, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily out of Galveston altogether. It's possible that they're going to bring a smaller ship in rather than the Royal class. But they all that they've told us is to be ready or be on the lookout for a fleet redeployment. We have heard through social, or I think through some of my travel agent, that my colleagues, that some folks on the Island Princess also had their cruises canceled. So there's a little bit of a redeployment going on. That does seem to be happening more prevalent these days than what used to happen. Norwegian especially has really done a lot of shuffling of their ships. So yeah, so we don't know if Princess is totally gone from Galveston. I'm wondering if MSC had any influence on that, because MSC is building that terminal and they're going to have a year-round presence now right there. So that's going to be good. So at least you got something coming in. So cruise news says you always pick based on Wi-Fi rather than stare at the sea while working. Yeah. I mean, for those of us who have to work from a ship, that's actually the worst experience that I've had on a ship, to be honest with you, in a long time. Since all the high-speed stuff started coming online, that was the worst. I was still able to run the business. It was very stressful and painful. And Azamara does have Starlink, but from what I could tell, they hadn't upgraded all the infrastructure inside the ship, and so you kind of gotta do one with the other. All the wiring needs to be changed out and everything in order to make it work. So, but like me, I was just checking emails mostly, and maybe occasionally going to a website. It worked well enough for me. Yeah, for 99% of the people on the ship, the Wi-Fi works great. For those 1% of us who are trying to work from a ship, it didn't. But we're still selling Azamara. Like I said, I just booked the client. I'm actually jealous because they're on the exact itinerary that we were going to book for Europe. But you know what? We're going to have an amazing time on the Celebrity Constellation. In fact, let me go ahead and flip that up there. You know what I find interesting as I look up at the screen, because I can see the YouTube feed up here, that the graphics are beautiful. It's just a video that's not coming up well. So yeah, so I apologize for that again, but there's nothing I can do about it. But we're going on the Celebrity Constellation. This is going to be an amazing cruise. We've never been on a Millennium class with celebrities. That was one of the choices. One of the reasons why we chose this one. Two, it's a great itinerary that's going to allow us to do some land tours prior to getting on the ship. So the ship is going to be starting out in Ravenna, which is about 2.5 hours away from Venice. It's not close. The ship simply can't get there. It's too big. The smaller ships can. Like Azamara actually will be pulling in, I forget what it's called, Fusina or something like that. It's literally right across the bay from Venice. So when Azamara is there, they're literally going to be basically in Venice. But yeah, so we're going to have, so we're going to start out in Ravenna, then we're going to go down to Split and Dubrovnik, Croatia, which is going to be amazing. I've never been there, never been to Kotor. We've never been to any of these stops. Kotor, Montenegro, then Messina, Salerno, Portofino, La Spezia in Italy, before ending up in Civitavecchia, which will be your gateway to Rome. Now, we're actually going to come in early. I'm hoping we can spend maybe 5 or 6 days in Italy prior, where we fly into Rome. We're going to spend a couple days in Rome, then we'll go up to Venice. We'll spend a couple days exploring Venice. Then we'll go to Ravenna the night before the cruise. So we're already there. Like I said, about 2.5 hours away, and we just don't really want to take a chance on, bad traffic or anything like that the morning of the cruise. So we're already going to be in Ravenna. And then when the ship comes around to Civitavecchia, we're probably not going to get off the ship, although we may go and explore Civitavecchia, because that actually has some beautiful architecture and things to see there. Then we're going to come back to the ship, and then the ship is going to take a 15-day transatlantic with 3 stops in Spain, 1 stop in Portugal, on the way to St.
Morocco.
Morocco. So 3 stops in Spain, 1 stop in Morocco. Then we're going to stop at St. Martin, and we're going to end up in San Juan. So that'll be a 15-day crossing to get over to San Juan. So Rebecca and I will be on the ship for 25 days. That's going to be about a 30-day trip altogether. And, it's going to tick off a lot of boxes for us. One, we're going to go on a Millennium class ship on Celebrity, finally going to do Italy, and we're finally going to do a transatlantic. So 3 things, 1 cruise. It's going to be awesome. Going to be awesome to check all of that off. And if you'd like to come with us, we'd love to have you. What month? It is October 23rd through November 2nd of 2026. That is the 10-day cruise. And then if you want to stay, that is the group cruise. So we've got a group rate for the Celebrity Constellation. The group rate only applies to the all-included package, which is a terrible name because that all-included package from Celebrity is the basic Wi-Fi and the first level, I think they call it basic beverage package. I don't know what they call it, but you get the beverage package and you get the Wi-Fi included, and that's it. No gratuities, no meals, no anything else. They call it all included.
And that's next year.
Yep. October 23rd to November 2nd, 2026. And it's up to about $400 off that all-included package versus what you get on the public site. And if you just want to get the standard cruise fare, then it's basically whatever the current promo is from Celebrity. So yeah. Stephanie's here. Hi, Steph. Good to see you. It was so great seeing you a couple weeks ago. Yay. Thanks for joining us. So Stephanie and I, speaking of cruises, if anybody's going on the August 31st sailing of Star of the Seas, that is the true inaugural sailing. That was the one that was supposed to be the inaugural. It's the first 7-day cruise out of Port Canaveral. If you're going to be there, look for us. Stephanie and I are going to be there running around. We're going to be roommates for the first time. So I don't know if you see us on the first day, it'd be interesting to see what we look like on the last day. Are we still talking? Are we still friends? I think we will be, but it'll be a lot of fun. I've never, it's going to be fun. It's going to be like my first time cruising without Rebecca and my first time cruising with a roommate.
Time.
Oh, second time. That's right. I went with Steph on another ship, but we were in our own cabin. So this time we're going to be roomies. So that should be absolutely hilarious. We're staying in Surfside. Steph is so excited because hopefully that lemon drop bar or whatever they call it's going to be down there. And she does love those drinks. So it should be a lot of fun. Let me see. You have a group on TikTok. You got a group of 20 that want to get a catamaran in St. Martin. Do I have any suggestions? Oh, not in St. Martin. No, our catamaran that we love is in Tortola, which is the British Virgin Islands. No, I don't have one offhand. I'm sorry, right there. I'm sure I could look it up. If you haven't already, look at Shore Excursions Group and look at Venture Ashore. Those are 2 independent tour operators that do have return to ship guarantees. So you could try them and see if they may have a catamaran that you, and I know that they do private groups. So you may find that. But yes, Steph, I wish you could come to Italy with us. That would be amazing. Hey, Emily, how are you? Oh my gosh, from the other side. Hi, Emily, good to see you. You're currently in Belgium. You're trying to find out what's going on. Oh man, I hope you're feeling better, Emily. Sending positive vibes and virtual hugs. Good to see you. It's one of the things I love about this is that we can talk to people all over the globe. Emily is over in Belgium right now, sending positive thoughts to you, Emily. Hope everything is doing well. Hi, my friend. How are you? John, you asked your boss if you could do both the Hawaii cruise and the Mediterranean. They said you had to choose because you do not have a note from your travel agent excusing you from work. Yeah, I just need to post that on the website, and y'all can download it. It'll just be a note that says, I, Walter Biscardi, travel agent, says that fill in the blank, can go on fill in the blank trip. I think I'll post that on the website, and y'all can try downloading that and see if it actually works. That would be awesome. Michael wants to know how's the free Wi-Fi on Virgin Voyages. It's plenty good to check emails and maybe do some posting on social. If you want to do, you can't do streaming with it. I think streaming, I can't remember if streaming is still with the second package. I think it still is. And then they have the work from ship package, which is really, really high speed. So, Rick, you just got off the Constellation. Awesome. You're going back in April. I can't wait to get back on there. Maugler, you were waiting to get on the MSC Seashore at Port Canaveral now. Have a great time. Make sure you have an affogato. Affogatos are it, man. On the MSC Seashore, you've got to get affogatos. They are so flipping good. How bad is the traffic from Miami hotels to Port Canaveral? You leave for World America Saturday, April 12th. Look at how many ships are in port. If there are more than 5 ships, or if there's 5 or more in there, I mean, it's going to start to get thick. If you are also check to see what Royal Caribbean and Norwegian have, because if like the Icon or an Oasis class is right next to it, and also so here's 3 things. 1, how many ships are in port? 2, how many ships does MSC have? Because MSC can technically put up to 3 ships there. And then what Royal Caribbean ship is right behind you? And then what Norwegian ship is behind that?
Because well, and Carnival's got some big ones too. Carnival, they have some big ones too.
Well, Carnival's going to be back a little bit further, but right there in that corner where everybody tries to make that turn, you got MSC that can put up to 3 ships. You've got Royal Caribbean that very often has an Oasis or an Icon class ship sitting in there. And then Norwegian's right behind that. And like Rebecca said, Carnival can be right behind that. So that whole area right down there at the front, which is where all the traffic has to go, can really be backed up. And, I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people need to start planning to leave their hotel at about 9:30 in the morning to get to the port. Because we have seen reports of people taking 2 to 3 or longer, 2 to 3 hours or longer to get to their ships, and all that traffic starts right at the port. So there's a lot of construction going on there right now too, and that's not helping. We need a train. We really do need a train going out to the ships in Miami. That would really relieve a lot of congestion. There is certainly room there to put an elevated train going out there, and that would help. So yeah. If you have more than if you have 5 or more ships, and especially if they're all stacked up in the front where you're going to be, I mean, you may need to leave as early as 9:30 and then just hang out outside the terminal. They don't want you doing that. They don't want you showing up. But what's going to be the choice anymore if the traffic's that bad? You're going to have to leave early. So yeah, we're starting to warn a lot of our clients to get out there early. Cruise Mapper. Yeah. Cruise Mapper app, cruisemapper.com. You can look up, see how many ships are going to be in Miami that day. Yeah. So, good morning, Jan. Good morning, Donna. Again, those of you tuning in on YouTube, I have no idea what StreamYard is doing. It's saying that the signal is bad, even though I'm hardwired into the router. So I apologize that it looks so bad on your screens right now, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I really do need some new software, some new streaming software that hopefully can fix that up. So, Donna, is Maho Beach in St. Martin worth it? I've never done it. If anybody had been to Maho Beach, I think the people who want to stand there while the jets take off are nuts, because I mean, you could seriously get hurt with that. But having the jet fly over as you land, but we've never been over. It is a bit of a drive to get over there. It's not like it's right next to where the cruise ports are. Sometimes when we're coming in or coming out, like a plane will come in right over us. So. But I don't know if it's worth it. Those of you who have gone and done it, would you do it again? If you've been to Maho Beach, certainly. Shani, how do I make sure you eat with someone who's staying in a separate room? Oh, how I see. So you wanna have dinner together with somebody who's not staying in your room. So you want to link your reservation. Pretty much every cruise line allows you to link the reservations together. So one of you can make reservations for both of you. So depending on the cruise line you're going on, if you're working with a travel agent, they should be able to do it, or just simply call the cruise line. And you need to have the booking number for the other person, not just a stateroom. They generally require you to have the booking number, and of course you got to have that person's name. But that's how you do it. Just link the reservation together, and then you'll be all set. Did I miss a question on YouTube from Donna? I'm sorry. I see Steph already answered it. Since both of you are going to be in the cabin on the Icon, are there 2 key cards? since both of you are going to be in the
You always would have separate key cards.
Yeah, you would always have separate key cards. Yeah. You would always have separate key cards.
Walter and I get separate key cards.
Yeah, because I try not to be with Rebecca too often on a ship. Try to stay away from her. Anyway, Mimi has less than a month until your Virgin Voyages cruise. Thanks for booking it. Yay. Virgin Voyages is an amazing cruise line. We really do enjoy them. Somebody wants to know, how do you join one of our cruises? Simply go, let's see, you're watching on TikTok. There are links in my profile to go to the website, and then there's a group cruise link. In fact, there are links in my profile directly to some of the group cruises. But if you go to where'swaltertravel.com, click on group travel, they're all listed right there. We have 2 cruises in there from Tony and Jenny B at Lido Loca. There's one leaving from Philadelphia, and there is one Canada, New England. And then I believe we've got 4 cruises in there as well. We've got Alaska, we've got Mediterranean, we've got Hawaii, and then we've got the amazing, brilliant lady sailing from Quebec all the way to Miami. So yeah, so just go ahead and look at that. Yeah. Let's see. Stefan says cruise timetables is another good website. Yeah, that's a good website for checking what ships are in port. It's a little clunky, but yeah, it is a good one. Stephanie is saying Maho is fun to see the planes land, but it's very crowded and it's a hike over there. The planes are really amazing to see. I mean, certainly if you want to get that Instagram shot of the plane coming in right over your head, that is it. Silver Librarian wants me to create a letter to your bank that it's okay for your credit card to cover the cruises. That I won't write. No, you can write that one. Cruise News says Cruise News and User 319 are both making a good point. Look up the flight schedule for Maho the day that you're going to visit, because the big planes don't always come in. And if you really want to get a big plane, then you got to go on the right day. So like Stephanie's saying, that it is a hike to get over there. And just like the cruise schedule, you can actually, like Flight Aware, I believe is one of the services where you can look up to see what planes are coming in that day. And so this way you're not going over there and it's like just some little rinky-dink plane coming in and you really didn't get the shot you wanted.
Because there are a lot of just inter-island around the Caribbean.
Flights. So I got to say, the whole YouTube thing is driving me crazy. I'm sorry, folks, about that. I wish the signal was a little better, but I'll just be all fuzzy and move around. Let's see. Benny said they rented a catamaran in St. Martin and it left from Orient Beach. So the person who was asking about St. Martin is still here. Benny said that they rented it from Orient Beach, and that was good. Oh yeah, Sean and Steph. So for those of you going to St. Martin, Sean and Steph channel, because Stephanie just reminded me, it's a great place to explore on an ATV. I think you guys did it twice, 2 separate times, 2 separate videos. But if you go to the Sean and Steph channel and find their St. Martin playlist, or just find St. Martin just search St. Martin on their channel, you will find they did a couple of really good ATV tours there. I think, what was his name? Johnny or something like that, Steph? And Stephanie is saying, look up the KLM flights if you're going to Maho Beach. KLM, those are the big ones. Those are usually, and whenever you see a picture of a big one, it's usually KLM is that big one. So, but, good. Okay. So you guys are saying YouTube looks good to you. Yay. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for confirming. I appreciate that. Good morning, Tim Lim. How are you? Go do the Flying Dutchman zip line. Is that in St. Martin? Is that what you're talking about, Tim Lim? Because I have heard that there is a crazy zip line in St. Martin, and I have missed it. I have totally missed it. Let's see. Kurt says Boston has Castle Island where the planes fly over on approach. A little higher than Maho, but still cool. Well, I did not know that. Thank you, Kurt. That is super cool. All right, Tamalam saying, yes, the Flying Dutchman zip line on St. Martin. I did see recently that there was some sort of zip line. I think that's what I was considering for one of the cruises that's coming up. Are we going to St. Martin?
Not anytime soon, I don't think.
What was the port then? There was a port coming up. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there was this big zip line. It was one of our clients who actually did it. So cool. But if you're going to St. Martin, Tamalam recommends the Flying Dutchman zip line. That is really, really cool. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, guys, that's awesome.
Did you get to Jerry with a G?
Jerry with a G. Did I miss Jerry? There you are. Jerry with a G. Thank you, Rebecca. And I'll just remind everybody, it is the top of the hour. I'm Walter with Where's Walter Travel. We're spending about an hour-ish here talking all things cruising. We came inside today because there's a possibility of some bad weather approaching before the show ends. But we are your independent travel agent, booking land, luxury, cruise, expedition, pretty much anything you can think of. We can probably book it. And you can reach out to us at where'swaltertravel.com or wherever you're watching me. There are links in the description, in my profile, and whatever it is, you can find it. So Jerry with a G wants to know, what are my thoughts on guaranteed cabins? I don't like them. Moving on. No. So why don't I like them? I know that's the next question, Jerry. I want to know where I'm going to be on the ship, and I want to know where my clients are going to be on the ship. For example, on Virgin Voyages, they have this amazing category called the Sea View, and the portholes are big enough that you can actually sit up in them. They're absolutely gorgeous, but half of them are under the Manor, which is the nightclub that can run till about 2 a.m. or so, depending. I mean, it just runs until it's done. And if you're underneath the Manor, and you want to sleep, you may or may not be able to sleep. That's just one example. So the guaranteed cabin, and for those of you who have never booked it and you don't even know what I'm talking about, a guaranteed cabin is one where you simply pay the cruise line for a category: inside, ocean view, balcony, even suites. And then the cruise line, at any time between the moment you pay for it and the moment you show up at the terminal, literally, it could be, you may not even know where your cabin is until you show up at the terminal. The cruise line will determine which cabin that you are going to get. More often than not, it's the ones that are not sold. You know, these are the cabins that nobody wanted, or for whatever reason, they couldn't sell them. So they're going to give it to you. And you could very easily be over under the theater, over under a nightclub, directly under the pool decks where they're moving all the chairs around. You could be in a number of what we consider undesirable location because of potential noise. Or vibration, or whatever it is that could be happening. There are places on every single cruise ship, or just about every single cruise ship, where you really don't want to be. And I know there are people like, well, I'm not in the cabin all that often. Well, you're in there to sleep. And if you can't sleep because there's too much noise going on, or you're being woken up at 5 a.m. because the doors are opening up and the anchor's being let out, or they're bringing the ship in and you're right above the thrust. Man, I'll tell you what, on Azamara, we were literally right above the bow thruster. So luckily, we wake up early, but if we didn't, I mean, it was,
we did not need a quarter for our bed.
It was really something, but we knew it. I mean, we knew we were right on top of the bow thrusters where we were, and we knew it wasn't going to bother us because we get up early. The bow thrusters are really only used to push off from the dock and then to come into the dock. But, had that been, if we were people who like to sleep late, there was no chance of sleeping late because that thing was just going to wake you up. So that is why we don't like guaranteed. Now, Stephanie just had a great follow-up. She's confused about recent guaranteed cabins with regard to lines canceling your cabin. Is that a fear that you need to worry about now that your cabin can be pulled completely? It is absolutely a fear to be worried about, that the ship could sell out, or it could be very close to a sellout. Now, the cruise line would much rather sell the cabin at full fare than the discounted fare that you did for a guarantee. And there is this thing called overselling. The cruise lines have a mathematical formula. They know based on historical data that X amount of people are going to cancel between final payment and the cruise. So they will sometimes overbook, especially with the guarantees. If, let's just say they have, 50 guaranteed cabin slotted, they may sell like 75 of those, knowing that, well, at least 25 people are going to cancel, so we can slip them in there. But there have been documented cases of ships being oversold and the guarantees being pulled. One thing that we're actually, and so you now don't even have a cabin. You're going to get a refund, but you don't get to go on the cruise. There's another reason that we don't like the guaranteed cabin, because you literally don't have a cabin. I like to know that you have an assignment. Your cabin is D721. That's your cabin. They can't take that away. But if you're a guarantee, you don't have a cabin. Guess what? You don't have a cabin. We're so sorry. We're oversold. You didn't have a cabin anyway, so just stay home. And there have been cases of people. Thank goodness that hasn't happened in a while. But there have been cases of people actually got to the terminal and then they found out they didn't have a cabin. That would be awful.
That is extremely rare.
That's extremely rare that happened. But there was a point there where Royal Caribbean oversold 3 ships within 6 months, and people were being bumped off the ship. So I do not like guarantee cabins at all. Just because the biggest reason is because I want to know where you are, and then there is that slight chance that you could be bumped off. Now, one thing that just started happening. I've seen my travel agent colleagues doing this. Royal Caribbean has been pulling group space really early from us. Usually we can have group space up until a certain amount of time, but some of my colleagues have been starting to get letters from Royal Caribbean saying, the ship is selling really, really well. We need your cabins back now. You can't hold on to them. Or if you want to hold on to them, we're going to change your group rate. Cruise lines are totally fine with doing that. But yeah. That is a new thing that we're starting to see, is that the cruise lines are pulling, at least it's brand new. Royal Caribbean is doing it right now, where they're pulling back group space a little bit on the early side. So great question, though. And thank you, Steph, for the follow-up. That was a great follow-up question. Hey, Alex, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Roberto, hello, how are you? John is saying the only time he'll risk the guarantee is for substantial cabin upgrade offers. Yeah, even there. Stephanie's saying it used to be guaranteed cabins guaranteed you a room on the ship, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you a room on the only real way to have a guarantee on a ship is to have the stateroom. Actually have that stateroom assigned. So yeah. So let's see. Molly's mom. Hi, Molly's mom. Any recommendation for excursions in Skagway, Alaska, other than the train? Yeah. Temsco helicopters. If you're up for that, if you're up for a helicopter tour, you can do one of those things where you fly to the dog sled camp, or you can go land on a glacier. That one is there. And I believe there's some whale watching tours out of there. I don't know any offhand, but Temsco helicopter, that's T as in Tom, E, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, O. C-O, yeah, Temsco helicopters. We've done them in the past. They were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So
you missed a question.
Huh?
You missed a question.
Did I miss a question? Hey, thoughts on going on a Mediterranean cruise next summer? What do I think about Istanbul? So first of all, summer's hot, really, really hot.
Crowded.
Crowded. That is the most crowded time to go. That's why our cruise, we're going to the Mediterranean next year, but we're going in October. Shoulder season. A lot of the crowds are going to be gone already. Temperatures are going to be down, more moderate versus going in the heart of the summer. So going in the heart of the summer, it's going to be hot, and it's going to be the most crowded. Istanbul certainly is one of those bucket lists. Absolutely stonking amazing place to stop. There can be some security concerns there. Always be aware of your surrounding. Go ahead.
There's a lot of political unrest in Istanbul, and while I would be perfectly fine having that as a stop on my cruise, because if there's anything going on at that particular time, the cruise line will just cancel that stop.
Right.
I have more of an issue with cruises that begin or end there. That would make me a little nervous.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a very good point. So if your cruise starts or ends there, certainly have to be aware of the situations that are going on over there. But stopping there is one thing. We did have that situation at one point where hostilities actually started in Israel while Holland America actually had a ship docked there. And suddenly, and that has nothing to do with Istanbul, but that's just an example of something that kind of happened. And they just had to do an emergency call to get everybody back onto the ship. So we have booked cruises that go through Istanbul. I'm trying to think if we booked anything that starts or ends there. I don't know. If it was one of the luxury lines. So yeah, but Istanbul is certainly, a bucket list place, so long as it's stable at the time you're going.
But that's the advantage of having it just as a stop, because my mother was there 2 years ago now. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she was there, and they did end up canceling all the excursions that were planned for Oceania that day because there were elections and they were afraid of problems. So she did get to go on the excursions one day, but the other day, because they were doing an overnight, the other day they just stayed on board. And people really didn't get off just because there was such a possibility of problems.
Stefan on YouTube is saying would definitely recommend an excursion. Don't go off and explore Istanbul.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that would be true for a lot of places in the Med. Now the big thing about the Med is pickpocketing. There's a lot of pickpockets. And another thing too is if you wear one of those little body bags, get one that has like steel or something in it so they can't just come up behind you and cut the bag and run. And certainly have RFID blocking on your bags as well.
And one other thing to be aware of, and this applies to the Vatican and to several of the mosques that are in Istanbul and other places, is you have to be aware of the dress codes.
Yes. Because
there are dress codes. Like in the Vatican, you have to have your shoulders and your knees have to be covered. You can't wear shorts above your knees. You know, you have to dress a certain way. And in most of the mosques, the women have to have at least a scarf on their head. It doesn't have to be a full cover every little bit of hair thing, but you do have to wear a scarf on your head.
Big thing to know, you know, when you're going to other countries is what are the dress codes to get into things. Because, you know, especially if you've only been to the Caribbean, we're used to being in shorts and we go into places and we go see things. But when you go to certain places over in Europe, you may have to have slacks on. You may have to have closed-toed shoes on. Like Rebecca said, maybe your head needs to be covered. So be aware of those things if you're going to be going, and especially when you're talking about religious locations, you really got to be aware of the codes there. But yeah, so back to the whole Mediterranean thing, I would prefer the spring, or very early summer, or going over in the fall just to stay away from the crowds. Talking to more about the guarantees. Some folks have been switched. You know, sometimes you're usually offered the opportunity to get onto another ship, and that's what some of the folks here are saying. Roberta, I'm glad you found the website. Yeah, where's waltertravel.com? Peggy says they recommend Skagway Private Tours, a place called Skagway Private Tours. Donna is looking at the deck plan and says there's a big gray area on one side of your spacious interior cabin. Is that a crew members area? That is an operations area. So when you're looking at a deck plan, you will notice that there are large swaths of the ship, usually in the middle of the ship, and maybe sometimes running down the whole center of the ship, that are just white. They're blank. Those are not where crew members stay. Those are operational areas. That may be, you know, where pipes are running, where things are going on. There could be elevators back there. There could be storage in there. There's just, you know, things that they don't want us to know what's in there. So anytime you see a blank white area, don't just assume that there's nothing there. There could be mechanical things back there. There can be certainly one of the big places I like to avoid, especially for my clients who want an interior cabin. If you see a group of cabins and you see a blank space and then you see a group of cabins, that blank space is where they're going to be coming. Most likely there's a set of stairs and an elevator right there where they're going to be moving stuff in and out, especially on embarkation day, like all the luggage is going to be coming out. And then on disembarkation day, that's where all the luggage is going to be going in. So if you're getting an interior cabin, I like to avoid it when you see a blank space, when you got a whole row of cabins and a big blank space and then a whole row of cabins. That blank space is almost always an entry-exit space for the crew. So at least stay a few cabins away from that. But what's in those blank spaces, we don't know. One of our clients was on a cruise. I think they were on the Sun Princess, and they were just saying there was something behind their room that was just making noise, you know, like some humming thing, some piece of mechanical thing that they could hear a lot. So you just never know what's in those white spaces, and neither do we, and they will never tell us. So, John wants to know, have there been any new developments on Virgin Voyages testing a drink package? There's not one offer for your October sailing. We have not heard at all what happened to Virgin Voyages for the month of March. They tested a drink package. I think they tested it wrong. They tested it with the rock stars, not with the sailors, because the rock stars already have a bar, and some of the rock stars already have access to drinks. So I thought that was kind of a weird test. But they were testing it. We have not heard anything from Virgin Voyages, whether the test went well, whether that's something they're going to move forward with. It is a very divided opinion among sailors, whether to have one. It seemed that people who have not been on the ship are more likely to want one than those who have been on the ship and actually experienced the bar tab. I much prefer the bar tab, because if there is a drinks package, that means that both sailors in the room are going to have to get it. Whereas with a bar tab, if one sailor doesn't drink that much alcohol, you simply buy the bar tab. You can buy less bar tab. And I mean, if you're talking $300 for a week versus, say, I don't know how much, what was it, around $80 a day, $90 a day. So that suddenly it turns into $180 a day versus, say, $300 for a week or $400 for a week. That really increases it. So I don't mind them adding it so long as they keep the bar tab. If they take away the bar tab, that would be very disappointing.
Yeah,
for me.
that will be sad.
So yeah.
We are not big enough drinkers to make 99% of drink packages work.
Yeah. So hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's see. Don't get a room next to there, too noisy. So Big Daddy saying don't get a room next to like a blank space. I mean, it's almost impossible, especially if you're in an interior, to get a room next to a blank space. But that blank space between, if you're talking about that blank space between the interiors, like I said, try to avoid that area at all costs, because that is definitely an entrance and exit area for the crew coming in and out. Room service is going to be coming in and out of there. Anytime the cleaning is coming in and out, they're going to be coming in and out of there.
The laundry, all the linens.
Everything is coming out. So if you see if you just tuned in, if you see a bunch of those interiors and then there's a blank space between the interiors, that is an entry exit area for the crew. Avoid those if you can. In fact, I even like sometimes with the balcony cabins, if I can, I might even try to avoid that area too, because just knowing that right across the hall from your room, they're going to be coming in and out. So good morning, Cleveland. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. John is saying Virgin should never remove the bar tab. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. SL video is now excellent on YouTube. Yeah. I noticed it finally cleaned up. I guess StreamYard finally got happy. Let's see what else we got. All right. Hey, Bobby, how are you? Good to see you. Did I miss anything else? Wow, Silver Librarian misses those quarter bed shaker machines. Maybe that's just a little too much information. We didn't need that. Anything else? All right. No other questions at the moment. Good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, can I go ahead and hit, oh, wait, here we go. Miami Toma, how are you? Can you take a cruise? Well, this is a great question, actually. Can you take a cruise and disembark one port prior to the end port? Great question. The answer is maybe. Maybe. And it involves a lot of paperwork. So what you have to do when we book the cruise, first of all, we have to find out from the cruise line, can you, is that a possibility? And then once you're on the ship, you are going to have to go directly to guest services, and you're going to have to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork, because the cruise line has to validate why you didn't come back to the home port. Now, they're not allowed to do it. From what I understand, they're not allowed to do it at every port. That's just my understanding. Maybe they can.
Not every port has the customs officials to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, because you have to do customs when you leave the ship. So first of all, when you're going to book the cruise, I need to check with the cruise line. I got to check with my counterparts at the cruise line and say, is it even a possibility? Can they disembark here? One big kind of exception to all of that is, like, if you're going to Europe and you want to do an MSC cruise in the Mediterranean, they run that almost like a hop on, hop off. There are so many different ports where you can exit and enter the ship. I actually kind of avoid booking them in Europe, just because it's like literally every single port is embarkation, disembarkation. So all that process is going on at every port. It kind of, for me, it's very disruptive for the cruise. But it is so the answer is maybe. Maybe you can do it. We just have to find out. But there is a lot of paperwork. So you're just gonna have to check with the cruise line. And if they say yes, then literally as soon as you get on the ship, you've got to go to guest services and start that whole process, get all that paperwork set up so that you can do it.
I can just tell you, don't count on being able to do that. It's possible.
Yeah.
But it's not always, it is by far from guaranteed.
Yeah, it is never going to be a 100% guarantee that you can do it, because there can be factors beyond the control of the cruise line. If you just simply don't show up and come back, that is actually quite bad. So don't.
Yeah, there could be huge fines for doing that.
Yeah, there can be big fines coming back to you for just simply abandoning the ship. You do not want to do that. So, okay. Let's see, euros versus US currency. Oh yeah, so the drink packages, you really got to do the math, find out if it works for you. For some people, it absolutely does work. For other people, it doesn't. The only quote unquote drink package that we buy on a regular basis would be Princess, but that's only because it's wrapped up in the Princess Plus package that has everything else wrapped in it. And it is such a good value to get that versus not getting it. So, but you definitely got to do the math to see if a drink package works for you. Some people, it absolutely does work. Nancy wants to know, euros versus US currency, is one preferred over the other for tipping on a Mediterranean cruise? So on the ship itself, I don't think it really matters as much, but certainly when you're on land, if you're going to tip, you would want to do it in whatever is the local currency, understanding that euros are not used everywhere. Most of Europe is European Union, but like if you're going to the United Kingdom, that's still under British pounds. So I would say when you're on land, you want to tip in the native currency. When you're on the ship, you can do either, because U.S. currency is accepted on pretty much all. I think MSC is the one that leans heavily into euros when you're over there in Europe.
And that applies not necessarily to the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, U.S. dollars are widely accepted by everybody. So you don't always, there are a few exceptions, but you don't really need to tip your local guides in the local currency per se.
Gotcha. And SL is watching from Scotland. Hi, how are you? You have one of our favorite actors from over there, David Tennant. Love David Tennant so much. He was the most amazing Scrooge McDuck ever on DuckTales. And of course, he's just the best doctor ever. I mean, there's never going to be a doctor better than David Tennant. Especially him and Matt Smith together. I wish there was a way to get the two of them together again to do something. They were so good together. Hey, Bobby, how are you? You were referred to. You referred us to somebody taking his first cruise. Yay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the referral. We get so many referrals from you guys, and we are very thankful for that. That you feel that we've given you the service that you deserve, and then when you refer us to other folk, that we are so thankful for that. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you to do that, and we thank you. Somebody is very confused about all the new documents that are needed for international travel, especially Europe. I know, right? And it's like, we're launching this thing, we're not launching the thing. We're launching the thing, we're not launching the thing. So right now, as of right now, and you always want to check the State Department website here, if you're living here in the U.S. As of right now, as we're recording this and doing the show, if you're going to the United Kingdom, you have to have an electronic travel authorization. I think it's £8, something like that. It's very cheap. And you just sign up for it on the UK, look up UK ETA. And there's an official government website. Use the official government website. Don't use one of those services. There's no need to use a third-party service. And the process takes less than 5 minutes to do. Usually the response is within 24 hours. It's no big deal. It's just an electronic waiver to go there. Then there's the ETIAS. I can't remember what that stands for. That is going to be all of European Union, and it's also going to be countries under the Schengen. £10? Okay, so £10. It's also going to be for countries under the Schengen Convention as well. That's going to start up, they are saying, the fourth quarter of 2026. So until the fourth quarter of 2026, you don't have to worry about the ETIAS.
And I've even heard rumors that the fourth quarter of 26, it will be optional and it won't be mandatory till
And we don't
27.
know. That's a
But we don't
rumor.
know.
We
I mean,
don't
they
know.
keep changing
But
every
according
other.
to their website, just going by their website, they
Yeah.
say it's going to start on the fourth quarter of 2026. There is an official website for ETIAS. That is where you're going to get your information. Like, we're traveling in the fourth quarter of 2026. We're traveling in October of 2026. Mm-hmm. So we're certainly going to be keeping an eye on that, because that will affect us and all of the guests who are coming with us.
And frankly, even if it is optional at that point, I probably would still get it, just because they seem to be changing their mind so much.
Exactly. So ETIAS, I can't remember, but there is an official website. If you search for that, there is an official website that you want to go to for that. I'll certainly be doing updates. I've done some stories on this in the past. I'll be doing some more as well. So Alex wants to know, when can you start booking dining on Norwegian? Is it as crazy a process as booking dining on Virgin? It's very straightforward. Dining opens up pretty quickly, doesn't it?
It opens up generally
days?
Around final payment.
Yeah, so around final payment date, like 120 days out, is when dining opens. I believe if you're in a
club class or higher,
you can start earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's generally right about final payment. And no, it's nothing like booking on Virgin. It actually works really well.
I did it the day we our final payment day for us for our aqua cruise, and I had absolutely no problem getting the reservations that I wanted.
Yeah. Oh, SL said David is from the hometown, your hometown. That's awesome. He's just like the Google. David Tennant is just one of those guys. If for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, Doctor Who, he was the best doctor ever. He's also in Broadchurch. He was Scrooge McDuck in the new DuckTales. He's just a fabulous actor. And he's just the kind of guy that I would just love to have lunch with one day. He just seems like that kind of guy. I'd love to have lunch and just chat with him. He seems like a super cool dude. And he's from your hometown. I love that. Michael wants to know, should you have the medallion for Princess Cruises delivered or pick it up at the port, which is best? I always recommend having it delivered. That puts you in the green lane. So Princess did away with embarkation scheduling. Everybody just simply shows up, and there's a green lane, which means you have completed all of the pre-cruise check-in, and you actually have the medallion with you. Then there's the blue lane, where either you still need to finish some paperwork or you need to pick up the medallion. The fastest way to the ship is to have the medallion, to be in the green lane and have the medallion. So I recommend ordering it. And as I learned on the Sun Princess, I didn't even realize this, you can order custom medallions. You don't just have to get the Sea Witch on there. And one of the options, and I hope it's on every ship because I'm going to start doing this now, is a logo of the ship itself. One of our friends had the Sun Princess logo when we went on the Sun Princess, and it was so cool because you get to keep the medallion. Is actually magnetic. It's got a very light magnet on the back of it, so it sticks to the fridge. So we've got it on. We saved them on the fridge because it is custom. It has your name on it. It has the sale date on it. But now
it's custom if you order it in advance. Yeah,
if you order it in advance, it'll have that. And so I want to start collecting the ship names. I want to start collecting the ship logos on them. So I highly recommend that you get the medallion in advance. I wear it like a watch, but you can wear it like a necklace. You can clip it to yourself, but I love that thing. Nancy's trying to figure out how much in euros to bring. Oh yeah, Rebecca, you're always the queen of cash.
Honestly, I would, if you're going to make souvenir purchases, I would try as much as possible to do that with credit cards so you don't have to deal with it. For euros, that would be for your tour guides and stuff, which generally you're tipping somewhere around 10 to 20% of the cost of your tour. Mm-hmm. So just try and figure it that way, and maybe add a little bonus for smaller things that you're not going to want to use a credit card for. Yeah. But as much as possible, for purchases anyway.
Yeah, and then Brandy had to follow up. How do you get all the currencies? There are usually banks in your local area. Now, not every bank will have this, but you should be able to look up like a currency exchange in your local area. And very often there will be at least one bank that will have a currency exchange. Now, will they have every kind of currency there? Maybe, maybe not. But you can certainly call the bank and ask what types of currencies do you have.
And in the US, the banks that have that, generally euros, pounds, Canadian dollars are very common to have. But the other option is a lot of times you can order cash from your bank in other currencies. The exchange is not always really good when you do that, but it is a possibility if you live somewhere where you aren't really close to one of the banks that you can get the cash right when you walk in.
And to Nancy, Stefan is saying that he would not bring more than 100 euros. So that's his suggestion. Don't bring more than 100 euros on the cruise. So good. Thank you, Stefan. I love it when you all help out with asking, with answering questions. I love it. Oh, and Gaza is saying that, or Gaska is saying that the UK ETA is going to increase to 16 pounds in April. So they're already raising it. I guess it's been a good revenue stream for them.
But you can't buy it too far in advance of your trip either. So you're just kind of going to be. Yeah,
you got to do it like within 60 days of your travel or something like that.
So you've got to pay whatever price it is.
Yeah, and some people are kind of upset, like, why do we have to do this? Well, the Europeans have had to do this to enter the U.S. for quite some time. So they're all my friends who live in the U.K. and Europe, they're like, what's the big deal? We've been doing this for years. So it's just kind of funny. Emily wants to know, have we been on a celebrity cruise ship yet? Yeah, we've been on 4 of them, and we're going to be on the Celebrity Constellation, October 2026, sailing out of Ravenna. It's going to be awesome. We love Celebrity's a great cruise line. The ships are gorgeous. The service is over the top. The food is good. We think the shows are weak in comparison to, say, like Princess, Royal Caribbean, and those. But ships themselves are great. Service is great. Food is good. Pools are gorgeous. So, yeah, Celebrity is a great cruise line. Christy, any tips for Norwegian Mediterranean cruises first time on Norwegian? So Norwegian Cruise Line is the one that invented the whole freestyle dining. So there are no reservations required for the main dining room. Depending on the ship that you're going on, we find that the buffet tends to be kind of boring on Norwegian, just across the board, just not that great. If you're going on a ship like a Prima class ship that has the food hall, that's supposed to be phenomenal. Their specialty dining is usually quite good. Excuse me. I find that the main dining rooms a little bland. The cruise director staff's usually on point. There's usually a lot of really fun games going on. They kind of remind me a little bit of the Carnival Fun Squad. They're really, really good cruise director staff. And there's usually a lot of great stuff going on the ship. So yeah, Norwegian is a great, great cruise line. I hope you have a lot of fun. Let's see. Another good point from Stefan about going to Europe. It's very important that you have a Visa or a MasterCard in Europe. He said American Express is not taken all that much in Europe. So make sure you have a Visa or MasterCard, even if you just have to get one to go to Europe. That's a great point, Stefan.
And you'll want to check how much or if there is a foreign transaction fee with your credit card. Because sometimes in addition to, the conversion, there will be an additional fee if you charge something in other money, depending on your card. So make sure you know that. Yeah.
And on a follow-up to to Celebrity, Emily wants to know, how about the Celebrity drinks package? Is it worth getting the all-included package? For us, it is not. It is overpriced for what we do. So we'll buy the Wi-Fi, and then I'll just pay for my drinks a la carte. I think the drink package is way overpriced for what it is. So I'm just going to pay a la carte for my alcohol and my coffee. I'm going to run up a higher bill on coffee than I will on the drinks. I usually get 1, maybe 2 drinks in the evening, and that's it. And so for me, the math doesn't work. For other people, the math is going to work. And like I said, on our group cruise that's going to the Med in October 26th, we actually have a discount on it. So, we did have to consider it for our group cruise, because it's like up to a $400 discount on that package for the group. That gets it closer to where we might want to be. But I will say that Celebrity has set it up that if you get the Wi-Fi and the drinks package a la carte, you will be paying more than the package. So if you're going to get it, you do want to go through the package. So Brandy is asking for a good international credit card. Those are, if anybody has experience with an international credit card, go ahead and throw that out there. by all means. I'm going to remind everybody too that we are Walter and Rebecca. Where's Walter Travel? We're an independent travel agent. We're talking cruises here, but we book cruises, land, luxury, and expedition. So we book it all. Where's WalterTravel.com. Our services are 100% free to you. So reach out, set up an appointment. I'll give you a call and let's chat. Miami Toma wants to know, is it standard to get access to the cruise app when you make your initial deposit? Usually, once you make the deposit, not when we put the stateroom on hold, but once we make the deposit, yeah, you should now have access to the app. Now, not everything in the app may work right away. Like we were just talking about, like with Norwegian and even Virgin, like you can't make dining reservations until a certain time. If you're booking way in advance, like excursions may not be up yet. But in terms of just having the app, what we recommend is if it's your first time booking with a cruise line, go to the website first, set up your account, then download the app and log in. Sometimes setting up your account right from the get-go on the app can be a bit troublesome. So go to the website first, set it all up, and then log into, then download in the app. The Queen Bee, what are medallions? You just tuned in and you have no idea. Well, you should have been here earlier. No, I'm just kidding. Medallions are what Princess Cruises uses for their ships. Instead of having a cruise card, these are little round, they're called medallions, but they're basically air tags, Apple air tags. And you wear these instead of using a cruise card. And they're phenomenal because, for example, as you're approaching your door will unlock when you're about 2 doors away. You don't even have to get the key out. You never have to get anything out. And if your hands are full, all you got to do is just, I wear it like a wristwatch. So I just kind of turn my wrist and go, here it is. But yeah, they are the best. Them and Virgin Voyages are the two that use the C bands. And apparently Royal is finally starting to roll out what they call the WOW band. Which they had before the pandemic, but they had stopped it for a while. I'm hoping, if Stephanie's still watching, I'm hoping that they might be on the Star of the Seas when we get on the Star. That would be kind of cool. But yeah. Let's see. Airports have exchanges too. Yeah, you're right. A lot of international airports will have a cash exchange as well. You're right. And you can probably going to be a lot of fees on that, but you can also get local cash out in ATMs if you have the right kind of card to get that. Yep. Let's see. Alex is recommending the Capital One, no foreign transaction fees. That's great. Q Creations has heard that MasterCard is the best, but you love Discover. Other countries love MasterCard because they tend to get their payment from the company quicker. Thank you for that information. Yeah. And Sunny does, I know I'm jumping ahead, but Sunny does mention that MSC uses the bands. Yeah. We have found them not quite as helpful as other people's wearable technology. Yeah. Stephanie is seconding what Alex said about the Capital One card, and plus Chase Reserve will give you triple points on anything travel related. Look at all this great information we're getting about credit cards. I love this. John is, let's see. So John, for Virgin Voyages dining, John is recommending calling Sailor Services so that they can take care of it over the phone. Just keep in mind, John, that's going to open at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, whereas the Virgin Voyages dining opens up at midnight. Eastern time. And we have heard from many sailors that in the past few months, it has greatly improved. So the new app is in beta testing right now from Virgin Voyages. And we know that they have been doing some tweaks behind the scenes just on the current app that allows. So Virgin Voyages has enough seating to do 2 seatings. Like everybody on the ship should be able to sit down at a restaurant, either first seating or second seating. And the problem has been the way the app interprets what's available on the ship. The app was not the same reservation system as what they were using on the ship, and they were incompatible. So now what's coming out on the app is actually the same system that's on the ship. So you're going to find it working a lot easier. Almost every one of my sailors that had booked dining recently has said, oh my God, it was so much easier. They logged in right at midnight. They were able to get their dining. Might have hiccuped once or twice, but they're saying that even the current app is working better. Once they release the new app, Nirmal, the CEO, has promised, he's like, I've tried it. It's working really, really well. So hopefully it's going to be even better. But just keep in mind that if you call Sailor Services, dining has already been open for 8 hours before you got a hold of them. They can go ahead and get your reservations on the phone. You're absolutely correct. But right now we can't do it. We still don't have access. That was the other great way to get dining reservations done on Virgin Voyages. I would simply log in at midnight for you, and I would go ahead and book all of them because I can do it in about 5 minutes. But they took that offline with this whole new system coming on. They said after the new app is finally released, that's when we're supposed to get access back again. So yeah, yeah, you can definitely call them. Just know that you may or may not get the time that you want.
And this is more critical if you want to eat between, say, 6:30 and 7:30.
Yeah, prime time.
Yeah.
Judy's
if you're eating early or late, it's usually not an issue.
Yeah. Judy's going on the Carnival Venezia. I really want to get on that ship. I love the concept of the Costa ships for Carnival. I really want to get on that. Have a great time. Christy says Viva. Yes, Viva, yes. Viva had Beetlejuice on it. You should go on that ship. Gatska, any suggestion for a cruise line in Japan? Great question. Offhand, I can tell you that we've got people booked. We've got people booked on Regent Seven Seas and Celebrity right now. We have explored Oceania. Explora is not there yet, but it's coming. But Oceania is there. Viking is there. Princess is there. Princess has, what is the name of that ship? But they have a ship that is permanently in Asia.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
Yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. But I know that Holland America goes to Japan as well. So yeah, there's a bunch that go over there. So if you want to reach out, we'd be more than happy to help you. We have booked multiple clients over to Japan. And in fact, we were working on a land tour at one point for Japan because we have a bunch of those as well. And yeah, we've got, I think offhand, I know we've got clients on Regent and we've got them on Celebrity. I don't know if I've got them on Oceania or not. And we got some folks waiting on, some folks are waiting on Explora to open those up. So yeah. Sunny is reminding us that MSC uses the band suit. We don't find them very useful. One, you got to pay for them.
That's what I just said.
Oh, you did? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that.
Because it doesn't get you on and off the ship. It doesn't. No. It was very difficult to open the door. You can't really use it to pay for. I don't even know what it was really good for.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in the yacht club, obviously you get it. So Michael wants to know if we're doing Princess Plus or Premier for Hawaii. We're doing Plus just because Rebecca doesn't think we would take advantage of the restaurants enough. I would go to Crown Grill and Sabatini probably every night.
Not for another $30 a day $60 for both of us.
Yeah. No,
for 16 days
works for us perfectly because we'll probably go to Sabatini's and Crown Grill like maybe twice.
Yeah, and
during the cruise.
We've got a fair amount of onboard credit, so we could just use that.
Yeah, I mean we got $550 of onboard credit, so we don't really need to get the Premier.
No, if I was on a ship that had more restaurant choices.
Yeah, maybe
perhaps
like the Star and the Sun have a lot of restaurant choices. So
but for the Emerald,
come into play. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not one personally where I would want to eat it either Crown Grill or Sabatini's more than twice in one cruise.
Right.
So then, if that's the case, it definitely doesn't make because I think they're around $50 a person.
I don't know.
Somewhere around there, $49, $50 per person. So you just have to look at the menus, figure out how many times you would want to eat there, and then see if it makes sense.
Right. Let's see. Somebody's working on their Royal Caribbean loyalty. Yeah, we don't get involved with that. We've been on 13 different cruise lines, so we just go on ships. We just want to go on as many ships as we can. And then Sunny asked, "Who is our favorite cruise line?" And of course, the answer still holds that my favorite ship is the one that I'm on. However, if you were telling me, Walt, you got to book a cruise tomorrow, I would probably book it on Explora. Explora really won me over. That is such a lovely cruise line. The food was amazing. I mean, your smallest stateroom is 330 square feet, something like that. Every stateroom has a balcony. The food was so over the top. I already said that. I'm going to tell you again. The food was amazing. The service was amazing. The room was awesome. I mean, their biggest limitation right now is their itineraries are extremely limited because they only have 2 ships. They're going to have 4 by the end of next year. They'll have 6 by the end of 28, I think it is. So as their itineraries grow, it's going to get much more interesting. But if I were to book a cruise tomorrow, it would be probably Explora. And then beyond that, it's just whoever has the most interesting itinerary. I love them all. We've been on 13 different cruise lines. There's not a single ship or a cruise line that I would not go back on right now. So yeah, I love them. Michael's saying that American Airlines had a free exchange and auto conversion. That's cool. That's cool. Darren saying that his favorite restaurant in Virgin Voyages had bar seating available most of the time without reservation. That is true. A lot of the restaurants, a lot of people don't even realize that, but some of the restaurants like Test Kitchen, for example, has a full bar that you can sit at. I believe Pink Agave has a bar. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Razzle Dazzle, but Extra Virgin has a bar. So you're right. On Virgin Voyages, you can always see if the bar is open, and if there is, you can get the full menu at the bar. So that is a great point. Thank you for that, Darren. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Sue and Phil are reminding me of the Diamond Princess in Asia.
Oh, that's it. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, but that ship was purpose built, or it's been all modified specifically for that market. So that is great. Alex is saying that he had less issues getting dining reservations on Virgin Voyages of late. It is getting better. It's definitely getting better. Stefan is saying that he's going on the Emerald Princess this summer. You think it goes into dry dock in April? I think it is going in the dry dock soon. I think that was another reason why we picked it for Hawaii, because it's going to be basically all redone. So Michael's leaving for Japan on May 14th with the Celebrity Millennium. There you go, 12 days. Yeah, I think that the ship our guests are on, they're actually doing a back-to-back. I want to say it's like 28 days or 32 days. I mean, it's just going to be spectacular. It's a retirement cruise for them. I think it is the Millennium, because I know it's that class of ship. John is saying that he knows that our group cruise schedule is full, but he wants to explore a journey for a group in 2027. Yes, so right now we literally have 6 cruises, 6 group cruises on the book. 4 of them are ours. 2 of them are our dear friends Tony and Jenny B over at Lido Loca. Yes, I will say, John, a river cruise will probably happen before another ocean cruise. I mean, we've really got to do a river cruise, so that will probably come next. However, I will remind you all that, yeah, we put on group cruises, but if you have a group of folks that want to go, Explora actually has a pretty good deal. It's 5% off the cruise fare, and we just need to get five suites. So, John, if you have 4 other groups of friends that want to go, it's 5% off the moment we get a group put together. And, I'll remind you, we've got people who have come to us. We have 150 staterooms on the Brilliant Lady in September. That is a group that came to us and said, hey, we want to put on a group. We have, of course, Tony and Jenny B, they came to us. We have 250, 270 people on the Norwegian Jewel in April of 26. And I think we got around 55, 60 people on the Enchanted Princess up in Canada, New England. So it's not just us putting on group cruises. If you guys want to do a group, or maybe you want to do a corporate event, anything all the way up to chartering a ship. We've even talked about that with some folks, like taking over the entire ship, just booking the whole ship. We can do that for you. So you don't necessarily have to wait for us to set up a group cruise. If you got a group of folks that want to go somewhere, do something, maybe you don't even know what ship, or maybe it's going to be a land tour, just reach out. We can talk about that. It does not have to be us setting up the group. You guys can do your own groups as well, and we would be more than happy to help you out with that. So
and depending on the cruise line, it can take between 5 cabins and 10 cabins. Yeah. So it just kind of depends on the cruise line.
Correct. You're welcome, Donna. Thanks for tuning in. Q Creations, Explora sounds interesting. Is it solo cruiser friendly? Extremely solo cruiser friendly. On most cruises, you're going to find the solo supplement to be 125%. And then they have a whole selection of cruises that are 0 solo supplement. So you are truly paying for one person. So Explora Journeys is very solo friendly. Crystal Cruises, solo friendly. Oceana, solo friendly on the smaller ships.
Well, the smaller and the newer ships.
Yeah,
it's just the
newer ships.
Marina and Riviera do not have solo cabins, but all the other ships they have do.
Yeah. So Miami wants to know about Costa Cruises. That's an Italian cruise line. Crowd and quality of a drink package. I can't tell you at all about the quality of a drink package in terms of the crowd. It's going to be a European crowd. You'll be a stranger in a strange land, which I think would be awesome. I really want to go on Mein Schiff. That's a German cruise line. I mean, talk about being or AIDA. Talk about being a stranger in a strange land. So the crowd is going to be predominantly European. There will be much more smoking on board than what you're probably used to. There will be more smoking areas. I have been told, I don't know if it's Costa, but there are certain cruise lines that even allow you to smoke on the balcony, which is insane over in Europe. So, I mean, it's going to be a European crowd, and I have no idea about the drink package. If anybody has been on Costa with the drink package, I do not know. So, Sue and Phil want to know, do I think Explora might have a ship covering Australia, South Pacific in the next few years? Absolutely. They're going to cover the whole world. The whole world is coming into play. If you look at Explora 3 right now, she is in Vancouver in April of 26, something like that. But like she ends in Vancouver. So obviously the next thing coming out will be Alaska. Explora will be in Alaska coming soon. But they're going to be the whole world. They're going to Australia. Will they go to Antarctica? That I don't know. But they will basically be covering the entire world, and you should see a world cruise come from them as well. So once they have 4 ships, they'll be able to start covering more areas, and certainly when they have 6 ships. Now, ships 3 and 4 are actually slightly larger than the current 2 ships that are out there. So yeah, Explora will cover the world. So Rick says Virgin Voyage is going out of Port Canaveral. I have not seen that at all. Where did you see that, Rick? Because they're going out. I mean, they built that multi-million-dollar terminal down in Miami specifically for them, and they're going out of San Juan. So I don't know about Virgin Voyages. I can tell you that Celebrity, Princess, they're here. MSC is here. Norwegian, of course, Royal Caribbean Carnival. In fact, Royal Caribbean is bringing the Star of the Seas here.
Obviously, Disney.
Disney, of course. But I have not. Has anybody else seen that? I mean, I'll take a look when we're done. But Virgin Voyages going out of Port Canaveral, that would be a long stretch. But I don't know. I'd never say never, right? Because they're going to have 3 ships in Florida, so you never know. Yes, Gaska, please do contact us. Yeah, if anybody wants to contact us, please do. Queen Bee, what are my thoughts on Holland America? Awesome. Just an awesome cruise line. Definitely adult-centric. Certainly adult-centric. Food is good, especially the buffet is amazing. We understand from our clients that have been on it, the main dining room has gotten a lot better. We thought the main dining room was weak before the pandemic.
You did.
Huh?
You did.
I did, yeah. Because you were getting the vegetarian meals.
Yes.
But the buffet was good. But we have not been on since the pandemic. We've been looking at the Rotterdam, maybe running down to do it. They have beautiful pools. They have amazing music at night. They got Music Row. So you've got B.B. King Blues Club. You got Billboard Club. You got Rolling Stone Club. Plus they have classical music. So they really leaned into that. So yeah, Holland America is a great cruise line. And they have a lot of very unique itineraries that nobody else has. Such as going to Europe round trip from Boston, going to Australia round trip from San Diego, doing Alaska and Hawaii round trip from Seattle. They have a lot of trips that nobody else has, especially in the mainstream. These are itineraries that you might more see in the luxury cruise line, but Holland America is doing them. So Holland America is fantastic. How much more is Viking compared to a regular cruise? Well, that just depends on what you're talking about. Sometimes the Viking prices are very, very close to what you're doing. So it just depends on which itinerary and then what you mean by a regular cruise.
And what kind of cabin you're talking about.
Yeah, what kind of cabin you're talking about. Because when you say regular cruise, there's about 20 different cruise lines we could throw in there.
And the only thing we'll caution Americans about is people are kind of surprised they have to make full payment anywhere from 15 to 18 months in advance of the cruise.
Yeah.
So just be aware that your money will be tied up for a while.
Yeah. So they want that money really, really, really early. Q Creation said Virgin might visit Port Canaveral. I can tell you that on our cruise going from Quebec to Miami, we're not. We're going to Charleston unless they've changed it. But we're supposed to visit Charleston and then Miami. Miami is going to have to figure something out because Miami is really getting to be a problem getting to the ships. It is just not good. So Miami, Tama says, for 30 people booking, are there discounts in all cruise lines? No, there is not. And it also depends on when you book it. People just assume, hey, if I bring a bunch of people on a ship, cruise line's automatically going to give me a group rate. Group rates close early. So like when Star of the Seas opened up booking, all the groups closed within like a day because all the group space was taken. There's only so much space on a ship that is allowed for group rates. If you book Norwegian and you book it 400 days in advance, yeah, well over a year, you can get up to 15% off as part of a group. But no, there is no automatic discount just because you have a group.
And that
depends on the cruise line, when you're doing it, the itinerary that you're doing.
The cabin category you're booking. And it can also depend on whether, like a lot of times solo cabins will not count towards your group, getting your numbers in your group, your cabins.
Yeah.
So sometimes depending on the cruise line, if you have, only 3 people that are doubles and everybody else is a single, they don't count. And 3 people won't make a group on any cruise line.
Yeah. So it just all depends on, what is going on. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. So you certainly want to work with a travel agent to help you set up your group, run your group. Like I said, we've got our largest group right now is about almost 250, 270 people on the Norwegian Jewel sailing next April. But we were also talking to some folks about potentially just getting the entire ship. So yeah. I'm just looking real quick. I see absolutely no news about Virgin Voyages going out of Port Canaveral. So Rick, I don't know where you saw that, but it was shocked me because they spent so much money on Miami. So Cheryl, is the $500 onboard credit per person or per cabin? If you're talking about that Princess, that is per cabin. And that is only through tomorrow and is only on certain sailings, including our Hawaii cruise. So if you want to come with us to Hawaii in February, that $500 offer is on that stateroom, and it's everything from insides all the way up to suites. Hatchman wants to know, have we done a river cruise to Europe? That is coming up soon, but we have booked a whole bunch. We have amazing partners over in Europe. So we've done all the training. We know the partners very well. We booked AMA, Avalon, Uniworld, not Riverside yet. If you're a solo sailor, solo traveler, Riviera has amazing solo specials. And of course, we've got Tauk, Viking, and all your usual suspects. We haven't done one yet. We will be announcing a group cruise probably in 27 at this point. Doubtful it'll be in 26, probably in 27. But while we have not been on them, we do market them. We've done all the training. We do understand the ships. Of course, Celebrity's coming out with theirs soon. And there are a lot of factors that come into play. That is one of the good things about all the training that we have to do, and then the direct connection that we have. So whenever I have questions about something, I got Tina over at Avalon. I've got my partners at AMA. I got my partners at Uniworld that I can just simply call, and I get the information directly from them. So yeah, so if you want to talk about it, we can definitely help you. We have booked a whole bunch of river cruises, and we will be going on a river cruise at some point soon. So, all right. So we've been going, oh my gosh, it's after 12 o'clock. I've got a call at 1 o'clock. So as always, how are you guys? Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. I gotta go do some calls. So I'll just remind you that we are Walter. Where's Walter Travel? We're your independent travel agent. We book cruises, land, luxury, expedition. We talk about cruises all the time on Sunday morning, but we do book everything under the sun. And we are partners with about 50 or so different ocean, river, and expedition cruise lines. We've got connections with all of them. Just amazing people. We're very thankful to do what we do. We're very thankful for you to allow us to work with you and for joining us every Sunday morning. Thank you guys so much for joining us every Sunday morning. We do try to do Thursday nights with a travel partner. We have not had one for a while. I think this Thursday, it may just be us. But I've got one very cool show coming up soon. The gentleman who is basically the entertainment director for all of Virgin Voyages. He is a drummer, he's a musician, and he is the guy who books all of the music acts, and he is like overseeing all of the entertainment on Virgin Voyages. So he will be joining me on a Thursday night soon in April. So I'm really looking forward to that. But we'll be here next Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want any help with your travels, please do reach out. Where'sWalterTravel.com. set up an appointment. I'll give you a call, and we'll talk to you soon. So wherever you are in this amazing world, have an awesome Sunday. We'll see you next Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a good Sunday, everybody. Oh, my gosh. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.